Technology has progressed, like a lot. We've gone from having to use our imagination with blocks and whatever, to a reality where just after a few button presses, you are able to watch all 12 seasons of The Big Bang Theory. I don't know why you do that, but you can. The bottom line is, we now have the ability to tell stories and entertain audiences with insane new tech, like in film, such as in the movie The Circle. While not the best movie in the world, I think it demonstrates my point, being that technology is directly used to convey the story. The scene where film techniques are most blatant is in the boardroom scene, where the main character, May, persuades the higher-ups to agree with her ideas behind the American voting system. May is shown to be wearing bright red colours, standing tall in the frame, with a slight upward camera angle, which emphasises her importance and power in the scene. This is in direct contrast to her friend Annie, who is shown wearing dark greys and blacks, and is shriveled behind people, taking up little space in the frame, with a slightly lowered camera angle. This scene uses film techniques effectively to tell its story by visually showing May's power over Annie. These subtle film techniques are only possible in film. You can't really do camera tricks and mise-en-scene like that without being overly obvious about it in traditional book format, so the application of film techniques enhances the story. A newer form of text is the immersive text, which combines the immersive nature of film visuals and use of diegetic and non-diegetic sound with newfound interactivity. An example of this is The Boat, where you engage in the story by scrolling down the page with text flying around the screen as the boat gets obliterated. After immersive text, there's hypertext, which is where you can further engage in a text, even making decisions of the outcome. An example of a hypertext is Wikipedia, because you can click the links to new pages and stuff, making it an aberrant hypertext. This further engagement and immersion makes the audience think about the text more, as their involvement in it is more tangible and real, creating a greater link between the text and the audience, effectively enhancing the story. So that's all well and good, but technology has far surpassed film and hypertext by this point, with the advent of video games. Video games use interactivity to generate immersion in a way that film simply can't, and what better game to demonstrate this than Dark Souls conveys its story through its world and how you explore that world, which makes its story feel personal to you. For example, Anor Londo. Everything here is big, much bigger than you, whilst also being eerily empty, showing that A, this place is meant for beings more powerful than you, and B, those beings have long since passed.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
One of the key themes of Dark Souls is perseverance, about not giving up in life when it's hardest, and it presents this theme uniquely from book and film. This is why the game makes itself as much of a challenge as it is. The area that Dark Souls presents this ideology the most is Blighttown. People hate Blighttown. I love Blighttown. Blighttown is deep beneath the surface, which is naturally spooky as all hell. You enter and everything just feels wrong and foreign, like you're not welcome in this space. This is because of the lighting, the use of diegetic sound, with strange shifting walkways, narrow beams and rickety wooden structures, which the enemies of this area are accustomed to, unlike you. This area makes you feel like an intruder, and that's effective in creating a foreboding atmosphere and tone. This area is also really hard. However, the game forces you to push on. You find a bonfire, one of the game's checkpoints, after probably hours of frustration, and naturally you rested it. But then it hits you. When you die, you go back to the bonfire you last rested at. You have trapped yourself here, and only you can get yourself out. And after many more hours of frustration, when you finally see the light of the surface and hear the calming Filing Shrine melody, you feel so accomplished, like you just made it back from a journey. You can't replicate that feeling in film or books, because you made the journey. Not Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, but you. Dark Souls would be a terrible movie. But it is more than a film, and it uses its medium to its full effect. Instead of watching a story unfold in front of you, you are naturally uncovering, participating, and putting effort into the story, once again, greatly enhancing the story. We can only speculate what dumb stuff humans will come up with in the future. Virtual reality is already on the rise, which practically destroys the wall between the text and the responder, which can create some intense emotional responses, like in some horror games.
Holy fuck!
The real question is, what's next? Currently we read, watch, and play through stories. Who knows? In 20 years we may be injecting stories directly into our brains, or something dumb like that. This sounds really exciting, but it could also be kinda scary, as the wall between our digital and physical worlds starts to fall apart, sort of like in The Circle, and all the shenanigans that happens there. But I think it'll be probably fine. We made it this far after all. So, We've gone all the way from books, to film, to hypertext, to games and VR, and now we look to our slightly disturbing, yet exciting Blade Runner-esque future. The way we tell stories has changed dramatically, especially in recent years. Anyway, the moral of the story is that technology and the way we use it to tell stories has progressed, like a lot. That's a very positive thing for the world and the future. Bye bye, boys.